Dear learners, welcome to UGC MOOC on Tourism Planning and Sustainable Development. In this topic, we are going to study about techniques of plan formulation. This technique of plan formulation involves a number of steps: collection of information, data. The most noteworthy phase of economic planning is the gathering of the economic data. The data not only contains economic defining variables but also descriptive variables such as demographical, topographical and political data. The economic planning also contains non-quantitative variables, and surely in order to collect appropriate data, the planner should have interdisciplinary as well as an interdisciplinary knowledge. Deciding the nature and duration of the plan. After the collection of data in a context to the economy, now the next step is deciding the nature and period of the plan. Now the planner has to decide the planning label. For example, micro label or macro label, functional or practical or structural, centralized or decentralized, long term or short term planning. The medium term plan generally comprises 5 years, it is a thumb rule, and is enough time period to apply its drivers, strategies and approaches. Setting up of the objective. The next step after setting the nature and the time period of the plan is the setting of the goals or objective or aim of the plan. And surely these objectives will have to be realized in a fixed time schedule. Generally, most of the objectives related to the economy of the country are related to advanced progress rate of GNP, reduction in joblessness, eradication of local discrepancies, removal of illiteracy, growth of farming and manufacturing areas, etc., etc. After the planners has analyzed the ground situations and given the objectives, now the planner has to establish these objectives depending on the eminent significance to the individuals and the economy in totality. Determination of growth rate. While framing the plan, the planner has to determine the growth rate. For example, at what rate the economy will grow through this time interval. Whether plan, the planner and policy maker decide at least it should maintain the per capita income level of the country. The plan should be such that the per capita income do not decrease or affect the progress of the country negatively. And such a thing is possible if the growth rate of GNP or growth rate of the country and growth rate and progress of the population is same, but the growth rate is least recommended. Rather, the planner will choose for that growth rate which is better than the population rate. For example, if India wants to maintain its present per capita income while population is growing at the rate of 8% per annum, then the obligatory GNP growth rate should not be less than 8%. If we want to grow GNP by 8%, then national income should grow at the rate of 16%. If the capital output ratio is 1 to 3, then we will have to invest 60% of GNP. While defining the growth rate, the planner must keep in view the growth rate of other adjoining or developing countries. Say for example, in case of India, it is Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Bangladesh, etc. So, full utilization of financial resources of the plan. The utilization of resources, including the fiscal resources, should be in a way that they predetermined objectives are realized. The various resources used in a plan of a country are human resources, natural resources, technology, worthy governance, entrepreneurial skill, financial resources, etc. Therefore, from these resources or sources, advantages or profits can be achieved. Broadly, it can be categorized into renewable or renewable resources. Advantages of resources applications may be augmented prosperity or needs, appropriate operations of a system, or boosted welfare. With the resource allocation, resource management is also crucial in a plan. The various resources have three basic attributes: utility, limited availability, and potential for depletion or consumption. Sectorial allocation or determination of priorities. The resources present in a country are generally lower than the wants. Therefore, these resources have to be utilized in a way that the maximum social advantage could be taken. The plan is targeted at consuming the resources in a manner that goals are achieved. As resources are limited, the planner has to accomplish the projected goals which are important and cancel the unimportant ones. Hence, a planner has to form a schedule, a timetable on the basis of comparative prominence of projects. The planner has to see the important factors which can have a multiplier effect on other sectors. Now, role of government. It's also important and cannot be ignored. They plan and take various roles depending upon the environment of the country. When a country is developed, their role more becomes as a facilitator. While in case of developing or a poor country, they have to actively participate in it. They have to have a role of initiator. They have to implement plans as well as pour on their own resources. Whether the plan have been made by the government, they are sent to the necessary departments with goals, necessary steps and outlays. Thereafter, the concerned ministries or department see the feasibility of the sent projects and give a recommendation about the feasibility or viability of various schemes and projects of the plan. Hence, the government organizations are asked of their keeping in mind the sectorial distributions and extent of the plan. Formation of the economic policies. In planning, plans are fine. The role of planner is fine. But importantly, the plan should be able to give the desired results. The result should have more positive effect than the negative effects. Here, economic programs, policies or strategies play a substantial role as they act as a gasoline to the locomotive of economic development. Also, the plans implemented should be based on ground or current scenario rather than picked from other countries' environment and sectors. Plan execution. The final phase of planning is plan operation, and for actual implementation of plan, following conditions cannot be ignored. The design should be steady, truthful, genuine and productive. The organizational system should be well organized, free from nepotism, dishonesty, enticement, red tapeism. Upkeep of law and order inside the nation. There should be equivalent level of involvement of both private and public sector in economic growth. Keep a check on convenience and electronic upkeep of government records. Monetary proclamation and cost statements. The opposition should be watchful and productive. Dear learners, let's summarize this topic. Planning is a very important function or process in every industry. Similarly, planning is required in the tourism industry as well. Plans are formed by various stakeholders, both public and private, in the tourism industry in order to achieve certain targets and goals or one can say sustainable development, planning plays a significant role in development and growth of any industry. For instance, tourism or hospitality industry and further helps in economic growth of the country. Proper planning leads to a brighter future, and the chances of failure can be reduced with the help of proper planning. Different methodologies and techniques are used in the planning process in order to implement the plans at grassroots level in any specific area. Proper use of these techniques and methods can lead to a successful future and can also help in increasing the sustainability of that area. Some of the most common models or techniques of planning are Harrod-Domer model, neoclassical growth models, input-output models. All these above methods and techniques are very helpful in formulation of plans. Thank you.